Welcome to this week's Gig Harbor Real Estate Market Recap. It is January 27, 2023, and this week we're going to be looking at Mathew Gardner's Q4 of 2022 Western Washington Market Update. So yeah, a lot of market updates here. I'm going to be summarizing his report. That way it's hopefully quick and painless to read, and I'll go through some of the key points and the key graphs that he has. If you're not familiar with Mathew Gardner, if you're new to this email, or you just don't read it frequently, or you're new to this channel, well, this is Mathew Gardner, again, Chief Economist of Windermere, and he produces these, quarterly reports for a bunch of areas, either northern states or western states. So he has like central, southern Oregon, northwest. So he breaks these states in part depending on where the housing market is. Here we have Western Washington, we have Eastern Washington, we have California, Colorado, Utah, Nevada, Montana. Anyway, there's a whole host of states that he covers, and this is all free information. You just go to this link you see at the top, windermere.com/blog/category/market news, or market-news, and then you can really pick and choose whichever market report you're interested in. The one we're interested in, because we are in Western Washington, Gig Harbor, let's go look at it right now. Let's get some of the feel of what he's been seeing in the market. If you're short on time, or you just want to get the executive summary, I guess, of this report, here it is. Employment mostly back to normal. Again, these are all for Western Washington. The threat of recession is causing business owners to slow expansion. Home sales are down by 42% compared to the same time last year. While demand is still outpacing supply, it has fallen dramatically, and we'll see that in the ratios down below. Sales in Pierce County, because Gig Harbor is in Pierce County, is down, so the home sales are down 47%. Mortgage rates are expected to continue to fall into the year, but still remain high. And by high, he's estimating that we're going to see about 6% mortgage rates into the summer. This means that expensive markets will continue to fall as mortgage rates remain high. And then days on market is up in all counties in Western Washington. Okay, that's the executive summary. If that's all you need to know, there it is. If you want to get some more nerdy into this, we're going to look at some graphs here and kind of pick apart some of the things he's been looking at. So stay tuned for that. We're going to start right now. Okay, we'll start by looking directly into Western Washington Real Estate Market Update here. And we're going to scroll down and start with the regional economic overview. And I have some bullet points here on my screen that I'm going to read. You're welcome to read this. I'll link it below if you want to, take a good glance at yourself and get into all the details. I skipped some of the ones that are not prevalent to our neck of the woods, but the ones that I found interesting here is the job market continues to grow, but is slowing down. All but 3 counties are back up to previous employment levels. The unemployment rate in November was 3.8%. And business owners across the country are hedging against a recession and are slowing down expansion in the event of an economic contraction. So that's basically what he sees going forward for our regional economic situation here. Now we're going to move into Western Washington home sales. So here you can, let me zoom in here. I'm looking at what I can see on my screen. You can see this bar chart in all its glory. So we're going to look at Western Washington home sales. So you have Jefferson, Skagit, Mason, Lewis, Clallam, Whatcom, Kitsap, Snohomish Island, Grays Harbor, King, Thurston, San Juan, and Pierce. And yeah, Pierce County down here. What I like to point out is that in Q4, only 12,711 homes were sold in Western Washington. That's quite a drop, and that's a drop of 42% overall when compared to this exact same quarter last year. Pending sales, which is demand, has outpaced listings, which is our supply, by a factor of 1 to 2. So that means demand is twice as much as supply, which sounds great, but when we think about that, last quarter we saw a 6-to-1 ratio, meaning that we had 6 times as many pending sales as we did listings. So that's a huge demand from buyers. So we've seen that buyer pool soften. So what it shows is that buyers are more cautious and are expecting the housing market, the affordability and mortgage rates to go down, and affordability to improve. What I'd like to point out here is this nice number here. We see that home sales in Pierce County is down 47% almost. All right, the next thing we're going to go to is look at Western Washington home prices, and this is for all the counties. Here you can see at the top point, sales prices fell an average of 2% compared to the same period. So this is the same time 2021, so Q4 2021, and then to the previous quarter, the third quarter of 2022, they fell 6%. So the average sale price right now is $702,000 for all of these counties. So the thing that we've noticed here, and this isn't, he doesn't say this explicitly, this is my take on it, is that as people got priced out of King, they've continued to trickle either into Snohomish, which is adjacent to King County, or into Pierce County. And if they get priced out of Pierce County, they then look at other more affordable counties like Mason, Thurston, and Lewis. So this is pretty close to the I-5 corridor. So I'd imagine these people are still wanting to commute to King County. They just got priced out. And this creates a lot of buyer competition for the few houses available in these three counties. So that's why I assume prices have gone up as essentially the rest of the housing market's gone down. As for these island counties and San Juan, I think it's just people retiring, or I don't know, they found a permanent remote position and they just want to get out and live on, I guess, on waterfront. Okay, what else did I want to talk about? So Mathew says, okay, so I'm going from my point to his point now, is that the drop in prices is due to the fact that prices were propped up artificially. I think we should all know this now, by low borrowing costs, and prices trending back down now to normalized levels is actually a good thing because, yeah, it was unsustainable of what the Fed was doing to the mortgage rates. Okay, and then so we're just looking at Pierce County here. Again, Pierce County is huge and Gig Harbor is such a small part of it. But when looking at the data, Pierce County was remained flat in home price. It was declined slightly at 0.2%. I should probably scroll to that real quick. Here we go. Here's the change in home sale prices by county. So San Juan, so those blue counties that we saw, these are the increases, and then everything else here is a decrease. So we can see Pierce County at, hovering pretty stable, I'd say. All right, the next thing we're going to talk about is mortgage rates. And Mathew Gardner believes that mortgage rates, so these are, you see these light blue, Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. These are his forecasted mortgage rates for essentially the entirety of this year. He believes that mortgage rates have peaked back in Q4 of last year, because mortgage rates are primarily based on prices and yields of bonds. Since bonds are impacted by inflation, if inflation falls, rates continue to drop. And I think my previous market forecasts have depicted this as we tracked inflation as pretty much tracking the 1970s inflation. So I'm not surprised to see that in the slightest that he agrees with that. Again, these blue numbers are his, and he expects, the reason why he said here they're going to trickle in the summer at 6%, as you see right here, Q2 is over 6% he's forecasting. Mortgage rates today, as of this video, are like 6.2%. So he's, quite in the ballpark. He's a little actually higher, but we're expecting the Fed to still keep raising rates. So we're going to see what happens as they keep fighting inflation, especially as the GDP is actually increasing, which is what they don't want, because that means their measures aren't quite slowing the economy down as much as they want to fight inflation. Okay, the next thing we're going to talk about is Western Washington days on market. Here we can go down and see exactly how many days on market each county is seeing. On average, it took 41 days to sell a home in Q4 of 2022, and that's 17 more days than we saw in the same quarter of last year. Well, when I say last year, I mean 2021. And 16 more days than we saw in Q3 of 2022. Here we see King County is at 31 days, so on average a home is on the market for 31 days, versus Pierce County, which is 37 days. Now Gig Harbor is more like King County at the moment, as we're seeing average days on market at 31 days. Other than that, I think that's pretty much all we need to know for Gig Harbor itself. And then he goes into conclusion. Hopefully this has been short and sweet. Here's his speedometer. It's kind of an interesting way to represent how far we are into a buyer's market or a seller's market. We're almost at about the 50-50 split, still a little bit in the seller's preference here, and he's going to go into why. So he thinks that so in summary and explaining why, he says the regional economy is growing but slowing, and then he says concerns over job security might make people wait before making a big decision to buy or sell their home. Mathew cautions buyers who think that the market will soften into their favor. This is due to the number of homeowners who still have a mortgage at or under 3%. This will keep supply low and keep home values relatively stable. So currently, I looked up that about 85% of homeowners with mortgages have a mortgage under 6%. If somebody's thinking about selling their home with a mortgage, the new mortgage they're going to get is going to be over their current rate. So that's, I didn't find out how many, I'm sure the data's out there, but how many, or is it a quarter of all homes that have been bought with mortgages have mortgage rates under, was it 3%? I think that's the right numbers. But anyway, that stymies the amount of homes that are going to be coming onto the market. The only thing that could really, I see, topple the low amount of houses on the market is there's some sort of panic that ensues as home values continue to drop nationwide, and a lot of people watch nationwide news, and so then they have that fear coming to them, and they're not aware of the local housing market, and then they might panic and sell, saying, I want to cash out of my home equity before prices fall. It's like when a stock falls, really, and people want to sell before it crashes even more. So they want to, get out before they lose more equity. So that's depending on that amount of panic. Yeah, we're probably going to see pretty stable prices. Yeah, I don't think things are going to go down too much more. Maybe 5-6%. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's his newsletter. Hopefully that was pretty concise and what you needed to know. And let's look at, I like to do this at the end of every email, is look at what's happening specifically in Gig Harbor. We're going to look at what's on the market, what's been pending, and what's high, medium, and low, and just to get an overview of how Gig Harbor market stands. Let's take a look what's on the market. I'm just going to, again, show you how I screen what's been happening, so you can do it on your own when you're not watching these. Basically what I do is here, let me hide my face so you can see the pictures. Here we go. What I do, Gig Harbor, I actually draw this shape because Gig Harbor leaves out Fox Island, and I think Fox Island is interesting to include because it is similar price range, and it is pretty close to Gig Harbor. All right, so what do we got? We're gonna leave the price the same. Oh, we're gonna go for sale first. We're gonna make sure that we check new construction because those are always clogging up what's actually on the market. Then we get bed and baths, we'll leave alone. We're gonna go into home type here. We're gonna deselect all and just do houses. And then down here, we're gonna go to on day, 7 days. Well, you wanna see what's been happening in the last week. That gives us a good sense of what's going on. Now, I do wanna do pending and under contract just to see what has been happening demand-wise. So we went from 5 to 6 agent listings, which means we had a whopping 1 house go pending that's been listed this week, which is good to see. Let me sort by high to low, and so the highest here we have is a pending property here. It's 1.15, located just to the north of Gig Harbor, so it's in a new subdivision here. We can take a look at it if you'd like. And just get a sense of what it is, what you get. Almost 3,400 square feet, 4 bed, 3 baths. Looks like newer construction. One was built 2020. Yep. And yeah, looks like builder had a good time with it. What do we got? We got, okay, that's the annual HOA fees, decent. High efficiencies, it's good. It's on 1/3 of an acre. That's pretty typical. Okay. Let's see how much the money they made. So in 3 years, they're selling it for $250,000. No, yeah, let's just say $250,000 more. This is what Zillow is an interesting way to look at how much you be spending per month if you got a mortgage. Property tax history, schools. Okay, well that's pretty much it. Yeah, it's a new construction, newer construction, should I say. Looks, you know, high end. Yeah, I think that's probably right. Okay, let's look at what else we've got on the market this week. So that our pending and high was the same property, so that makes it easy for us. Then we're gonna look at, so what's interesting is I usually look at the medium price property, which is about 735 right now. And these two houses between 625 and 850 straddle that medium price. So you're interested to see why, oh, $9,000 more gets you one heck of a house more. Well, don't forget, it's always good to look at how many acres you get with the property. And so in this case, 7.35 acres for about a $500,000 house. So you're looking at, you know, the price of land on top of the house itself is what gives the house this value. So I'd like to say that this is probably median priced range right now of this current list for 625. It is, you gotta have to drive past the Purdy Spit, or in this case, you'd probably just take the Burley exit. And that's what I would do to avoid all that gnarly traffic. But it is in Gig Harbor, so you get into the Gig Harbor School District, which is nice. The house itself is, I think it's, well, it's almost on 2 acres, so maybe it is priced, I don't know, maybe $10,000, maybe we'll get you a sale here. Older appliances, very gray, a lot of gray, a lot of old stuff. So I don't know, maybe it is priced a little bit high-ish. Maybe not if somebody's really desperate for a house. Yeah, maybe 615, 610 would probably get this house sold. 2,000 square feet, yeah, 3-bed, 3-bath. I think that's about, yeah. At this point, you're just trying to find the right buyer who's willing to pay that. If not, maybe a small price cut will get you there. What else we got? We got the cheapest house currently. Oh, it's in Gig Harbor in a very nice location here. If you're just trying to escape the city and you're just trying to, you know, get the cheapest house and still get in an awesome school district and have all the amenities Gig Harbor has and the lifestyle, well, this is, you know, only $550, 3-bed, 2-bath, has a sizable yard. It looks like, what is it, 0.42 acres, and it's looks like it's actually usable yard. It's not just woods. Does need updating. Sorry if I'm scrolling a little bit fast. Yeah, dated. Yeah, tile floor. That could be done nice if you have the right interior design touch. Make it mid-century modern. If you don't mind the interiors, really. I mean, 550 might be a little bit high. Is it? It must be stick built because I took off. But interesting. Anyway, yeah, if you're looking just to escape the city or whatever town you're from, it's got a old roof, needs to be probably replaced. Oh, look at the neighbors, the roof there. Oh yeah, the moss garden up there. Right next to the farm, great views. That's pretty solid steel there. If you just maybe 500, I would maybe say, yeah, here's 500, take it or leave it. That's what I do. Okay, that's what's on the market in Gig Harbor. High, medium, and low, or medium, yeah, median and low. Not a lot. Again, this is January. This is the slowest month of the year, so hopefully that was insightful. Always good to check on the market. All right, I'll see you next week.